Yes, we are live. Welcome, my dear friends. This is episode number 107 on Zero Point Healing Show. And today I have with me an amazing guest. I'm looking forward to this conversation so much because it is all about choosing happiness. And for me, I feel happiness has been in quest for centuries or eons of time, that all of us search for the pill that gives us happiness. So my guest today is the author of the book Choosing Happiness, and it gives me huge privilege and gratitude for having her on my show. But before I go on to her, just a short intro about me and Zero Point Healing. So I am Vishnupriya, and I am a holistic healing practitioner. I've been certified in multiple different modalities, even though I should say at this time in my life, I am focusing on access consciousness because I feel that's the thing that kind of opened me up for so many different possibilities, and that's the thing that I'm aligning with at this moment. So again, once again, this conversation is something that excites me. Okay, so a little bit about Zero Point Healing. The website is zeropointhealing.com. Now, that's a web directory that I have created for all the holistic healing modalities, all different holistic healing practitioners of all different stuff there. And when I started off, I was like, maybe 5 to 10 holistic healing modalities that I knew about. And once I opened the directory and practitioners started filling up, every day I started receiving messages that Vishnu, looks like you don't have this modality that I'm certified in your website. Can you add that in? And today, the number of modalities have become 50 to 60 modalities. And imagine the number of practitioners on each of those modalities. And I'm like, wow, I'm amazed at so many beautiful modalities. And I come from this perspective that every holistic healing modality has keys to opening up ourselves to new possibilities. And I feel all of these modalities are needed. Every one of it has its own importance, and it has its own group of audience that who needs that particular tool, so to speak. So if you are a holistic healing practitioner yourself, I welcome you to zeropointhealing.com. Regardless of your modality, you can register there, and if you're interested in such interview with me, you can let me know about that. If you are a client or a person who's searching for solutions, I think zeropointhealing.com can serve you in helping you find these beautiful angelic beings who can help you create the magic that you would like to have in your life. All right. So that's my short speech there. Now I'm moving on to my beautiful guest here. Thank you, Rudrani, for coming to my show. It's my huge privilege to have you here. So tell us about yourself, my dear.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted for this conversation. A little bit about me. I have always been able to perceive energies, talk to trees, animals, plants, people always seem to be the hardest to talk to, but their
Uh-huh.
bodies would talk to me.
Yes, and how did you receive your judgments about it maybe when you were young?
Oh, very interesting. My mother was very supportive because this is something that is a lineage in her family. My grandmother and great grandmother were both mediums and did this sort of work already. So she'd never made it wrong, made it a wrongness. But my father, on the other hand, said that I was being sacrilegious. I was raised Catholic, and I remember specifically being in Mass, in the service, and I'm looking at the Blessed Mother statue, and she begins to animate herself to me. In other words, I could see her eyes opening and looking at me and the energy that was exuding from it. And I heard her speaking to me. And I told my father about this, and he said that was sacrilegious and that I was making up stories and all of this, and that it wasn't a real thing. So I learned when I was being judged that it was best to not say anything. I would share with my mother, but I wouldn't share with anyone else because I was afraid they would think didn't handle judgment so well when I was younger. Now I'm not afraid to be who I am. So no more cutting off arms and legs to fit into other people's realities.
Wow, I love the way how you said that, no more cutting arms and legs to fit into others' reality. I'm like, wow. All right. So
That,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, that's what we all have a tendency to do, though, have you noticed, especially in this reality, we don't want to be seen as different. So we do whatever we can to fit in, and it never works out for us. What if we could just be ourselves? And that's the gift that's required.
Yes. So tell us now, let's get into the topic of all choosing happiness. So, what first of all, kind of, if you want to show the book as well, you can do that. And you can tell us what made you, first of all, come up with this topic and what is in the book.
So this little yellow book, the little 90-minute read, came about on the 10-year anniversary of the Mumbai terrorist attack. I knew it was approaching. My backstory is I was actually in India during the Mumbai massacre and was shot in my femur and my right tricep, and my neck was grazed and I was left for dead. And I basically took, I don't know, it was a little over 2 years to fully heal and walk again and all of this. And I had already written a book about my experience in India and can all of this be? Because, I survived this terrible thing and did more than just that. I thrived. I found myself happier. And might sound weird to your listeners, but I almost felt like the terrorists did me a favor in a way, because with it, a lot of things fell away. A bad marriage fell away. A business that I was in that my partner wasn't really showing up for fell away. And it forced me to really use these tools of access. So on the 10-year anniversary, I thought maybe I could write a book that would appeal to those that are curious about doing things differently, that have maybe seen posts on Facebook about access. Because I had several people asking me, what is this access thing you're doing? And I thought, well, sometimes it's difficult to explain what access is to those that aren't familiar with it. And Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, always says less is more. So I thought, well, what if I could create a book that had pragmatic tools that we learned in Access Consciousness? And this way, if someone were to ask, all one would need to do is say, here, it's all here. And then if it speaks to them, they'll read this book. It's a 90-minute read. It doesn't have the real estate my first 2 books had. So yeah, and Access Consciousness Publishing published the book. It now speaks, this is Portuguese and this is Spanish, and it's being translated into Russian. Me and said, take a week off. And so I didn't have any clients, no classes. And honest to goodness, the book wrote itself in 1 week. It really did. And I did some fine tuning, and then within a couple of weeks, it was done. So it's one of those things. It wanted to be birthed. It wanted to be in the world, and so now I'm considered the happy lady, which, I've been called worse. So I don't know. I don't know if that answered your question.
It did, part of it. Now let's get into what's in the book. So I might frame a question, a funny question. Can you teach me how to buy happiness?
Well, what if it was free? What if all you had to do was choose it? And that sounds so simple, doesn't it? Because, if we could just choose it, wouldn't we have all already done that, by this point? The thing is people don't realize they can actually choose happiness. They think it's something they have to buy. If I have the right relationship, if I have the beautiful home, if I have the nice car or the nice job, if I had beautiful clothes or the perfect body, I can go on and on. When I have all those things, then I'll be happy. But how many people have you seen in the world that seemingly have all these wonderful things, and they're not happy. They don't even know how to get their happy on. It's like it eludes them. But the beautiful thing about the book is it shares these very, very pragmatic tools that actually work. There's nothing woo woo about them. And if you were to choose even just one tool to work on, for a few days and then move on to the next tool, eventually you become this walking, talking meditation. You become the tools, and you'll find this innate joy lives within you. It's your birthright, your cells and your body. You were born with this happiness. And this is just a way of remembering who you be. And, I dare you to, to go through these tools and facilitate yourself and see what shows up for you. Hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. So let's say now you said, your example of, how such a maybe a terrible thing happened and everything kind of lost, business lost, partner lost, and you are laying there with physical illness and then choosing happiness from that kind of situation. I think that's what I have been hearing, and even in my experience, when our financials crash down, there's no partner, and then there's physical issues, you are considered the failure of the world. So so in that kind of situation, tell us, how can one choose happiness, or at least how did you choose happiness?
That's so funny. I never considered myself a failure. Yeah, you're right. My business folded. It was very interesting. I was basically the person that brought in the most clients. I had other practitioners working under me, and they just couldn't keep it afloat without me there. So I had to close it down, and my job, if you can call it that, was healing. And so I took it very seriously. I did all these cleanses and I meditated and, impaled myself with all these things to make myself well. But what got me through it was really knowing um, these tools of access. Basically, the book is revolves around the 10 keys of total freedom. And then there's other tools in there that are, how does it get any better than this? And what else is possible now? Access teaches us to live as the question and not as the answer. So instead of going, oh, I failed in the world, I'm seen as this huge failure. I should really be cranky pants for the rest of my life, and on and on and on with these giant scars on my body. I would go to the space of, okay, what else is possible now? What can I create and generate now? What would it take for me to choose something that could turn all of this around, What can I generate and create today that would change all of this right away? Because here's the thing about living as the question. You start with just asking the question, and then you step into you be the question. The universe really has your back, and it wants to gift you. It isn't plotting against you. Oh, you've failed, and so you're going to now have this stamp on your head that says failure, can't do anything else, blah blah blah. The universe hears these questions. What can I create and generate today to change all this right away? And so the universe says, hey, it falls all over itself to show you the myriad possibilities. And then another tool I really love that's in the book is this heavy light piece. And you see all these possibilities. Okay, if I choose this one, what will my life be like in 5 years? Is it heavy or is it light? And this is basically how I live my life. It's following my awareness of what's going to create and generate greater for me. And sometimes, it leads me to something that I'm going, well, this doesn't seem great. But because of that experience, it led me to something else, more questions to ask about that. Or, another person steps into my world. Another opportunity steps into my world. So choice creates, it really does. And happiness is just a choice. Are you willing to create that space for yourself? Hmm. Does that
Wow.
make
Yes, it does. And I love the tools that you shared there. Even that simple question of what else is possible completely turns things around, because we go into the reverse direction where we get into the conclusion of, oh, I'm a failure now, I've made a mistake, I can't get up and stand, I made that terrible mistake of going to that place at that time, or whatever financial mistakes. And I've seen people over and over again, including me a few years back. I was seeing myself in this huge, deep hole. And I was like, if at all I was given a chance to live again, to be born again, and I was in that kind of state. And then I think slowly a lot of things happened in my life that helped me come up from there. But at that kind of desperate situation, it's so natural, and we are being taught kind of to get into the failure mode. But I love how access consciousness, even with that simple question of what else is possible,
Mm.
completely changes and turns that energy around and tells us, oh, there is in fact possibilities. How can I get up and run again? Beautiful. So now, would you like to get into the short meditation that you would like to offer us and continue our conversation from there?
Sure, sure. I do want to add one little piece to what you were saying that pops. The thing about choices is you can always choose again. You don't have to marry your choice, you know? I mean, marrying someone is a huge choice, and then, unmarrying them is a huge choice. But the thing about it is you can live in these 10-second increments. I chose this. Is it still working for me, heavy or light? Can I choose something different? What else is possible now? So I just wanted to add that little piece, because we do have a tendency to go, oh, I chose this, I have to marry it. Everyone's expecting me to be this because I chose it. What if it doesn't work for you anymore? You can unchoose it. So yeah, let's do this little meditation. This is another
Sure.
tool.
Just a small statement for that, actually. So, you said about how we can unchoose it and make a new choice. And I think even there, I personally had a difficulty where I was like, oh, I made a choice 2 months back that this is what I'm going to do. And now, if I make another choice, it's like I declare to the world that I'm a loser because my choice did not work. So it's like, no, I'm a loser because, and then I tend to hold on to that choice. No, this is the choice I made. I'm going to make it happen. And then it goes worse and worse and worse. And one day we decide, no, I can't hold on to this anymore. I'm going to make a different choice. So,
So many people go down the rabbit hole because they feel like they cannot unchoose it. That is so true. I've seen it happen a million times. I work a lot with relationships, couples, and because they've invested so much time in this horrible relationship, they would rather hold on to it like, my precious, I have to do this because I chose it, and I said till death do us part. And they can't get themselves out of it. They go into the wrongness of themselves because they can't make it work. What if it was just something that was supposed to take place for a year or two, or to bring certain young beings into the world, or who knows what it is, myriad of things. But we make ourselves wrong for it. And I know in the United States, more than half of the marriages end in divorce. And so did mine. My husband, while we were married and I got shot in India, he started having relationships with other women and impregnated one. And I was ready to let it go. I thought, I mean, a lot of people would say that's just horrible. That's a terrible thing. How could he do that to you? How could he abandon you? And I was like, thank you, universe. I'd tried to divorce him a couple of times before going to India, and I had to be wounded for him to leave. He basically said, I didn't sign up for this. If you had died in India, I would have loved you forever. And I thought, wow, what's right about this I'm not getting? I'd rather him move on. So
I love that question. What's right about this that I'm not getting? I think that's one question that can turn us around rather than going into what's wrong with me.
mm,
Okay, so let's get into our meditation here.
yes. So I love this meditation. It's actually an access tool as well. It's an expanding out exercise. So if you'll indulge me, just take a moment to close your eyes and connect with your body. Maybe put your hands on your thighs and give yourself a little squeeze. And just begin noticing your breath. And imagine that with your in-breath, you're breathing in awareness. Whatever that looks like for you, it could be a sensation, color, a sound. Just every in-breath, breathing in this beautiful awareness. And allow this awareness to begin filling all the cells in your body. You feel this awareness through the veins and the blood and bones of your beautiful body. More and more awareness with every in-breath. And now imagine this awareness filling you up so much like a balloon that you allow this awareness to spill through the very pores of your skin and fill the room you're sitting in. So now you are inside your body. I mean, you are not inside your body. Your body's inside of you. And now imagine breathing in more and more awareness to where you expand beyond the walls. And now expanding beyond the city you're living in and the country you're living in. And with your next in-breath, allowing this awareness to encompass the entire beautiful planet we live on. And moving through the ethers of this universe. And notice your body and notice your infinite self, this beautiful expanded self. And from this energy, space, and consciousness, are there any real troubles in your world? Is there anything you cannot be? From this energy, space, and consciousness, what can you create and generate for your life, for your living, for this beautiful planet? From this space, we include everything and exclude nothing. This, my friends, is infinite being land, and this is where I live. This is what it is like to be a walking, talking meditation. So very gently, just holding on to this energy, this awareness. Just gently open your eyes and notice your body and notice your infinite self. Notice how your body is responding right now. For me, I can literally feel my cells resonating joy. And this is one way to choose happiness. I do this intention every morning. And the beauty about it is all you have to do, you don't even have to milk it like I just did. You can just say something like Pluto, which is my go-to planet. I just go, Pluto, and I'm there. And the more you do this, the more you create it, and it becomes who you be in the world. Not of it.
Wow, that was tremendous what we can do in just few minutes, right?
Indeed.
And why Pluto?
Well, I feel sorry for Pluto. In Disney, it's Mickey Mouse's dog. He named it Pluto, but in the universe, Pluto is supposedly the tiniest planet. And so about 4 or 5 years ago, they decided to undeclare it as a planet because it was too small. And then they decided to make it a planet again. I don't know who they are, scientists or something. So I just, because I'm fond of the story. You can make it Jupiter or I don't know, just universe. But I just go Pluto, bam.
I might use that tool as well. I think I'm gonna love Pluto from today.
You should go online and get a picture of Pluto. It's actually quite beautiful. It's a beautiful
Uh-huh.
planet. I
And
couldn't believe they demoted it. They demoted the planet, but now it's a planet again, so we're good.
yeah, isn't that said to be the coolest planet in the universe or the solar system? I think
You
it's
know,
it's
I'm not certain about that, but I'm going to go find out now.
yeah, I believe from my fifth grade stuff, I think it is Pluto is the farthest from the sun or something, and therefore it's the coolest. Again, I might be wrong. Anyways, let's come back. Um, so thank you so much for that wonderful meditation, and to our viewers here, that meditation is on her beautiful book. If you would like to go have that book. So now let's talk a little bit about the services, classes, the beautiful, fun stuff that you're offering to the world. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, now since I don't know if you're listening to this in the future, but during this interview, we are speaking in December of 2020, so quarantine time. We've all had to shift to teaching classes online, and since March, I've taught a foundation class every month, with the exception of December. But holidays. It's one of my favorite classes to teach. I still love teaching access bars, which is 32 points on the head, different groupings, and what that can create for your body. It's thoughts, feelings, emotions that basically get deleted from your system in any lifetime. I love teaching the Right Voice for You class, which is really about, it's kind of like a being you class. It's about really stepping into who you be for the world. The 5 elements of intimacy: honor, trust, allowance, gratitude, vulnerability. So being that with you first so that you can step into it fully and be the gift to the world. I have that class coming up January 21 through 25 of 2021, if you want to join us. And of course, I'll be teaching another foundation. I do a lot of little specialty classes. Get happy, stay happy through the holidays was one of my classes. A lot of happy themed intros. And I do have a private 5-day Get Happy Facebook challenge that you can find. I will be doing another 5-day challenge in January, where you get a different tool to use or something of that nature to get your happy on. And then we share it in the group. And that one is in 3 different languages. So those are just a few things. I also love to do SOP sessions, which is our symphony sessions. It was created by Dr. Dane here, who is the co-founder of Access to Consciousness. So I've been doing a lot of those by remote as well. They're quite lovely, but don't take my word for it. If you are curious, I would love to facilitate that for you as well.
Sure. And do you have any one-on-one private sessions that you're offering at this moment at all?
I absolutely do one-on-one sessions as well. We can do them through Zoom. So that can be facilitation, working with the tools of access, clearing statements, that type of thing, or it can also be energetic transmission, energy pulls and pushes and all of that. Quite lovely, So, and I do a lot of relationship counseling, as I had said before. So that's a lot of fun for me as well. And you can find me through the Access Consciousness website under Rudrani Devi. I believe I'm the only one. Or rudranidevi.com can also get you there. And on that website, all my other websites are there. I have an aromatherapy company. I'm also a funk artist, funk rock singer. So I have that website. On Reverb Nation, I'm the #1 funk artist in Nashville right now, which is funny because we can't go out and perform. But if you go to my Facebook page, I do a lot of Facebook Lives where I'll sing. So, it's
I, yeah, I'm being kind of. I wanted to ask, like, are you taking multiple lives in one lifetime?
I wow, that's light. I just thought I got bored. If I do one thing, I only do one thing, I get really terribly bored. But if I'm doing like 50 things, I can't screw anything up. I just hop from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
I get actually I get made wrong for doing too many things a lot. It's very interesting. They're like,
Uh-huh.
why are you doing so many things? Why don't you slow down and take a break? And I'm like, but it's not work for me. It's fun for me. So, that's just the way it is.
And I can completely relate to it because I do those, multiple different, I'm a dancer as well, and I get into different kind of stuff, and people look at me and they go like, "What is she trying to do here?"
Wow. When I first moved to Nashville, I taught ballet and tap and jazz to little girls because I was
Hmm.
a dancer in a dance company as well. But I haven't done that in a while. Maybe I'll get my tap shoes out and do a little hoofing.
Yeah, it's good to have a little bit of multiple personality disorder.
True story. Oh my goddess, I adore you. I adore you. That's so funny.
All right. So thank you so much. Thank you. So we are hitting our time here. My dear viewers, I hope you had as much fun as we did. And I hope we have turned on a little bit of happiness in you through our conversation here. And if you'd like to choose, you can start choosing happiness by, if you want to choose to buy the book and kind of read it through. It's the amazing gift that Rudrani has for us. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was a beautiful conversation. I absolutely loved it. Thank you for coming to my show.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
choose happiness, y'all. It's free.
It's just a choice. What if happiness is just a choice and we get to choose it regardless of our current reality, drama? Oh, wow, happiness is just a choice. Thank you. All right, so my dear viewers, I'm going to see you on my next show. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can choose to subscribe as well as share this beautiful happiness video with anybody whom you feel like this would contribute. So thank you so much. I'm going to see you next time. Bye bye.